Hey guys, it's Jeremy here at Metal Music Meltdown, back with another video. What I got for you today, guys, is my next episode of my top 5 albums of each year, starting back in 1970 and working our way through all the way to 2021. If you're new to the channel and enjoy this type of video and the content, definitely hit that subscribe button down below and follow the series. And also check out my other great content. We have a weekly Queen video, we have reactions to new metal songs and some rock songs and some young artists. And yeah, definitely stick around and check it out. And if you enjoyed the video as well, please give it a thumbs up. And down below, please list your top 5 albums of 1975. There's always might be something I've missed or a band I've never heard of. Maybe something a little bit more underground at the time that I've never heard. I'm always open to listen to new music and explore new things. So let's jump right in, guys. Starting with number 5. Honestly, this was almost a tie between four albums. I'm going to list the other ones as well, and then I'll tell you which one I decided to put at my number 5. Depending on my mood, any one of these albums could have been my number 5. The top 4 were pretty set, but the number 5 spot I was really struggling with. The more these years go on, the harder it's becoming to choose it, narrow it down to top 5, because there's just so much good music coming out as each year progresses. So the other albums I had kind of tied at this number 5 was Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare. I decided just didn't quite squeak it out. Rush's Fly By Night was the other one. And also Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here was the other one. And the one I did decide to put at number 5 was Richie Blackmore's Rainbow's debut album. I think I just put this here because it was my most listened to of the ones that I mentioned. But like I said, the other 3, Rush's Fly By Night, Pink Floyd was barely squeaked it out. I love Wish You Were Here. And then Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare was an amazing album as well. But I decided to put the Rainbow album there. I really enjoy it. It's kind of where Ronnie James Dio, started his race to fame. He was in Elephant and some other band before, but I think Rainbow's where he started to get more notoriety and kind of became more popular throughout the albums. And songs like Man on the Silver Mountain, Self Portrait, Catch the Rainbow, Snake Charmer. Top to bottom, it's a solid album. I really enjoy it. It's not my favorite Rainbow album, but it's definitely up there. I love the earlier stuff. When you have a band comprising of Ronnie James Dio, and Richie Blackmore as a 1-2 punch, it's an unbeatable combination. And for the top 4, like I said, I had pretty set. There's just the number 5 spot that was kind of a struggle. Number 4, I had AEROSMITH-TOYS in the Attic. I think it's my favorite Aerosmith record. It's heavy, hard rockin'. I love the early Aerosmith stuff. I'm not really a fan of their newer stuff. More so into the 90s and 2000s, but I love their 70s. Some of their 80s stuff's okay too. But with songs like the title track, Toys in the Attic, Walk This Way, of course, Sweet Emotion's an amazing song. And You See Me Crying is a really, really good song as well. But this is just a hard rockin' album, top to bottom. It's really, really strong. And I just love the production of this album. It's a really, really good album. At number 3, I have Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti, one of their hardest, heaviest albums they've ever put out. In my opinion, the best double album ever created, with songs like In My Time of Dying, The Rover, House of the Holy, of course, Kashmir, In the Light, 10 Years Gone, the Wonton Song, Night Flight, Boogie with Stu, like Sick Again. Just so many good songs. There's no filler in this album. It's, like I said, one of their heaviest albums, and I just love it. It's definitely, more people think of like the first 4 Zeppelin albums, but American Graffiti is definitely where it's at. And at number 2, I had Black Sabbath-Sabotage. This is an odd album in their discography. It's definitely different from other stuff. It's very crunchy. The production's really distorted and kind of weird and heavy. but it suits the music perfectly. Ozzy has some of his best vocals on this album, in my opinion. It's a really heavy album, very evil sounding album, with songs like Am I Going Insane, Thrill of It All, Symptom of the Universe, Hole in Sky. Megalomania is a big one too, a longer song, but it's just a really good song. Like I said, Ozzy has some of his best vocal stuff on here. It's super heavy. Some people don't like the production because they said it sounds too distorted and too mashed and chaotic, but I think it suits the album really well. It's one of my favorite Black Sabbath albums. Definitely in the top, probably 3 or 4. It's really good. And before I get to my number 1, I just want to go through the honorable mentions. Just some albums I might not have listed yet. So we mentioned Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare, Rush's Fly By Night. Kiss had Dressed to Kill that year. Bad Company had their second album, Straight Shooter, which was really, really good. Solid follow-up to their debut. Nazareth had Hair of the Dog, which was really good. Uriah Heep had Return to Fantasy. UFO had Force It, which was really good. Of course, Kiss Alive came out this year. I never put live albums on the list, but one of the best live albums. Big one was Thin Lizzy Fighting, another big album. Ted Nugent had his debut self-titled album. Has my favorite Ted Nugent song, Stranglehold. I know it's a very popular song, but I fucking love it. Love that opening riff and just the full vibe of the song. One of my favorite hard rock songs of all time. And Rush actually had 2 albums out that year. They had Crust of Steel as well, or Crust of Steel, I should say. Deep Purple also had Come Taste the Band. And AC/DC had, well, TNT Overseas, but here it was, Christ, I'm drawing a blank now. In North America, it was High Voltage, sorry. I'm trying to draw a blank there for a second. Yeah, that was a really solid album as well. Love AC/DC. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Trapeze had their debut, self-titled, I should say, that year. Trapeze, Armageddon had their One and Done, self-titled. Angel had their self-titled album that year, big one. And Jeff Beck, Blow by Blow, instrumental album, really good. Yeah, just some solid stuff that year. And my number 1, guys, is Queen, Night of the Opera. Might not be a big surprise to a lot of people. It has my favorite rock song ever written in Bohemian Rhapsody. I know it's a really mainstream, not mainstream, but popular song, but it's always been my favorite rock song. I think it's brilliant. The composition of the song, so many layers and sections, operatic in parts, hard rocking, very beautiful in parts and melodic. It's just my favorite song by Queen, and like I said, probably my favorite hard rock song of all time. But it does have other great songs, like the heavy tracks like Death on Two Legs. The Prophets song is a really heavy one too. I'm in Love with My Car is a pretty rockin' song as well. I love it. You're My Best Friend's on this album as well. Love of My Life is a really, really good song too. And like I said, of course, Bohemian Rhapsody. So there's a lot of iconic Queen songs on this album. Probably my favorite Queen album of all time. I listen to it weekly at least, like very regularly. Great vocals by Freddie, of course. Great guitar tone. Great drumming. Just a solid band overall. Great bass lines in a lot of the songs. But I really love it. So that's on my list, guys. So again, down below, please list your top 5 for 1975. And if you're new to the channel, like I said, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. And definitely join the Metal Music Meltdown family down below. Hit the subscribe button. And tune in for the next episode, 1976. And until next time, keep it metal.